Hi, I'm Carly. I'm a music student. Today is Sunday, February 16th, 2014, and I am here to tell you why classical music still matters. Quick disclaimer, I've never done this before, so if it's an epic fail, I apologize. Also, I am operating under the assumption that no one I know will be seeing this, which of course is the exact opposite of how the internet works. Anyway, classical music is struggling right now. Our audience is aging, and orchestras face budget cuts and shrinking audiences. The Philadelphia Orchestra, the oldest professional symphony orchestra in the United States, was forced to declare Chapter 11 bankruptcy back in 2011. That sucks. Here's the thing though, classical music as society knows it is actually sort of a myth. Historically, classical music with a capital C was only composed between about 1750 and the early to mid 1800s. Everything that falls under the classical label on iTunes can actually be further divided into a gazillion different categories, just like popular music. If I asked you what your favorite genre of music was, you wouldn't answer popular. You'd be specific. Maybe you like hip-hop or dubstep or indie rock. With popular music, you can have choices and preferences. But with society's definition of classical music, it's all or nothing. Chances are, though, the so-called classical music that you've been exposed to doesn't remotely cover all that's out there. Maybe someone played a Mozart string quartet for you one time and it wasn't really your thing. But have you ever heard any post-World War I British film scores? Pretty awesome. Perhaps you're not a symphony sort of guy. But have you ever checked out 12th century plain chant? You might like it. I don't like Miley Cyrus, but I really like Regina Spektor. Honestly, I think you'd be pretty hard-pressed to find someone who equally likes both Miley Cyrus and Regina Spektor. They're totally different styles of music with totally different aesthetics and messages. So I don't expect someone to like both Baroque organ preludes and French Impressionism. You wouldn't lump Justin Bieber in the same category as Harry and the Potters, would you? So don't do the same thing to classical music. There's so much out there, and I urge you to find something within the realm of classical music that you do like. A piece, a composer, an instrument, a style, a time period. Type it into Pandora and see what comes next. You just might like it. One of the biggest complaints from non-classical music fans is that classical music is just too long and boring. Here's a fun fact. The longest symphony ever composed, Mahler's Third, clocks in at about 100 minutes. That's no less than 1 full hour shorter than The Desolation of Smaug. You sat through an entire Hobbit movie for longer than it would have taken you to listen to one of the greatest pieces of music ever written in history. Arguably, watching a movie is more interesting than listening to a piece of music that has no words or visual element to hold your attention for 100 minutes. But that's the thing about classical music. It encourages you to use your imagination, find your own voice, notice small details, and build your own story. Classical music lets you be the writer, director, and star of your own movie in your mind's eye, which honestly is probably a better movie than The Desolation of Smaug was. Please don't hate me. Classical music, like popular music, and like all arts in general, emerged within a social context. You have Macklemore rapping about homophobia, and you have Tchaikovsky writing his 6th symphony before his alleged suicide because he was in the closet in 19th century Russia. You have John Lennon advocating world peace, and you have Luciano Berio composing a musical elegy for Martin Luther King. But classical music can also exist independently of the context in which it was written. Like popular music, it explores universally human themes. Love, grief, sex, themes that are relevant no matter when you're listening to the music they inspired. Classical music can make you cry. It can make you laugh. It can make you feel epic. It can totally creep you out. It can make you get up and dance. It can transport you to another time, or another place, or an entirely different world. Classical music matters because music matters. No matter what kind of music you listen to, Where words fail, music speaks. Hans Christian Andersen said that. Speaking of which, Frozen, cutest movie ever. Music evolved as an art form because humans felt the need to express themselves in a way that language or the other arts just couldn't achieve. The classical music world is a small one, but we want it to grow. It's not just about the music or the musicians, it's about you, the audience. In a way, the classical music community is like the internet. There are content creators who inspire artistic collaborators who seek to entertain and inspire an audience. And who knows? Maybe a member of the audience will be moved to become a collaborator or a content creator themselves and will someday have an audience of their own. A lot of non-classical fans see classical music as the stuff that only old people like. But you have the power to change that. That was so cheesy. Go to a classical concert at your school, your church, or your local concert hall. Check the concert listings in your local newspaper. Most professional orchestras these days offer free concerts or student discounts. Become a part of our community, because we in the classical music community never forget to be awesome. Thanks for watching, guys. DFTBA.